We've been tracking the storm all week, waiting for this strong spring storm to move through Northern California. It's right now moving its way in from the Pacific, increase in intensity overnight Wednesday into Thursday. With it, it's bringing some gusty winds. A wind advisory still in place for the central and northern part of the Sacramento Valley through early Thursday. Travel impacts include high-profile vehicles kind of bobbing and weaving on the roads there. Tree branches down could cause some power issues. Now, higher up, we get into that winter storm warning. That's going to continue through Friday morning above 5,000 feet with that lowering snow level. Again, travel impacts and some tree branches down could cause some power issues. But one of those things where travel is actually not even advised into the Sierra, at least through Friday afternoon. And here's the reason why. You can see how the travel impacts will be really playing out through our Thursday, with the biggest part of the storm developing. Chance of rain and snow, periods of heavy rain and snow at times, as well as the chance of thunderstorms. And then for Friday, we'll get some morning showers in there. For the most part, though, things are starting to wind down, and that's going to lead into a dry start to the weekend. Here's the areas that we're expecting some of those thunderstorms for tomorrow. That includes most of the valley, but the biggest risk will actually be through the central and northern part of the Sacramento Valley. Some small hail, gusty winds, even some possible funnel clouds. We'll be tracking that right through the day. That's partly due in part, I should say, from the cold air starting to move its way in, helping to add to the instability, which will also bring down that snow line. Wednesday night, it starts off at around 6,500 to 6,700 feet. That's going to be below the pass level. So again, expect those chain controls to pretty much be in effect starting Wednesday night, lasting through Thursday, where we see that snow line coming down to about 5,500 to 6,000 feet. Eventually, by Friday morning, as that coldest air starts to work in, we can see our snow level down to 4,500 feet. Not a ton of accumulation at that elevation, but nonetheless, a few snowflakes coming down into the upper foothills and the lower Sierra. Here's the timeline as it plays out for our Wednesday evening. Main band of rain starting to really ramp up right in time for the morning commute. Snow heavy at times in the Sierra. Again, some of those areas nearly impassable at times when the wind gusts will really be blowing that snow around. We get a bit of a break during the afternoon with a bit of daytime clearing and some of that instability growing. That's when we expect those thunderstorms to really be the greatest possibility during the afternoon. We'll see the back edge of this starting to move through early Friday morning for the valley, but that snow is going to linger for the Sierra. We get a bit of a break, but a return of the snow possible for Friday afternoon. It's not the heaviest stuff, but again, could find some lingering impacts coming into our Friday afternoon. Everything clears out of here, though, by Friday evening. Due to the duration of this storm, this is going to be a decent rain and snow producer for us. In the valley, half an inch to an inch of rain possible by Friday morning. For the foothills, 1 to almost 3 inches of rain. Now, the Sierra, this is going to be a great story developing for us. 1 to nearly 4 feet of snow possible for some of those isolated locations, especially above 9,000 feet. That's where we really expect to benefit from the cold air of this storm and the moisture coming in as well. And we need it. Look at how low that snow is right now. We're at 29 to 35% of average for the central and northern Sierra. Southern Sierra, a little bit worse off, only 23% of average. Now, those numbers actually went up over the past week or so because of these late season storms that have come through. And the reason why we really focus on that snow at this point in the season, we're past the point where we really see our peak snow and start to talk about the melting snow coming down the hill, with gravity taking it through many of our rivers down into our reservoirs, eventually making its way into the valley, feeding us through the dry summer months. And our reservoirs still have plenty of capacity to take any snow in. We're only at 40% to about 68% full. That's looking pretty good for averages for Folsom, which is a smaller reservoir. But when we look at our biggest reservoir, Shasta, we're less than 50% of average right now. And the drought continues. So despite the fact we've seen these late season storms, the drought for California continues to expand. Part of the reason why is not just isolated to this season alone. We have to go back 1 to 2 years to look at the growing drought conditions. Everything that we look at during the winter mainly comes back to these atmospheric rivers. How many do we get without significant ones coming in? Like last water year, we only saw 3 extreme events. And so when we look at how that played out throughout the entire West Coast, it was really not a great situation growing throughout not only California, but really throughout the entire West. And then this year, again, we saw very few storms hitting. We saw one exceptional atmospheric river coming through, but only 3 extreme and 10 strong storms, 15 moderate and 11 weak. We should see many, many more, especially after a growing drought situation. We needed to see a whole lot more in atmospheric rivers to dig us out of this growing drought.